So chances are you've had ginger, right? Maybe in a tea or a favorite dish. But have you ever stopped to wonder what's really going on inside your body when you eat it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to follow its journey, from the very first bite all the way to its deepest biological effects.
Yeah, it's true. And it doesn't stop there. Within about an hour, your circulation, your inflammation signals, even the rhythm of your digestion, all of it starts to adjust, often in ways you don't even consciously notice. It's this quiet but pretty amazing cascade of events.
I mean, think about it. You might add it to a stir-fry or sip on some ginger ale, but very few of us actually get what it's doing on a chemical level. So let's pull back the curtain and really decode the science behind it. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to track ginger's path right through your system. We'll start with the immediate action, what happens in the first 20 minutes. Then we'll look at how it starts talking to your brain within the hour. And finally, we'll dive into the deeper, long-term effects that follow.
All right, let's put you in the picture here. Imagine you just finished a big meal, and you've got that heavy, kind of slow, uncomfortable feeling in your stomach. We've all been there. Now you drink some warm ginger tea, and almost immediately something starts to shift.
So the very first thing ginger gets to work on is something called gastric motility. You can just think of it as the engine of your digestive system. It's the rhythm of your stomach muscles contracting and physically pushing food along the line. See, there's this key compound in fresh ginger. It's called 6-gingerol. And when it arrives in your stomach, it basically tells those muscles, hey, let's get moving. It encourages them to contract more efficiently, moving food out of your stomach faster. And that's exactly why that heavy feeling starts to fade. But that's just step one. Right, because digestion isn't just a physical, plumbing system kind of thing. It's a constant two-way conversation between your gut and your brain. And honestly, this is where ginger gets really interesting.
So your gut is lined with these little receivers called 5H3 receptors. When they get all fired up, maybe from something you ate or even motion sickness, they start sending these chaotic, panicked signals to your brain. And your brain interprets that chaos as nausea. Now what ginger does is so smart. It doesn't just cut the wire. It acts like a negotiator, stepping in to turn that panicked shouting into a much calmer, more stable conversation.
So no, this isn't some ancient magic or folklore. It is pure, straight-up neurochemistry. Ginger is literally interacting with your body's own communication network to dial down that feeling of nausea. Okay, but hang on. Here's a crucial detail that most people have no idea about, and it changes everything. Fresh ginger and dried ginger are not the same thing chemically. They act totally differently inside your body, because drying them literally changes their molecular structure. So get this, when you dry ginger, the heat transforms those gingerols, the compounds that are so great for your stomach and nausea, into a whole new set of compounds called shoguls. And these shoguls, they're like the special forces for targeting your body's inflammatory pathways. So fresh for the stomach, dried for deeper systemic stuff. Knowing that is a game changer.
And that, right there, leads us into the next level of what ginger can do. We're talking about these deeper, more subtle effects on things like inflammation and even your circulation, actions that go way beyond just the digestive system.
So what exactly is ginger targeting here? Well, we're talking about some heavy hitters in your biology, like the NF-kB and COX-2 pathways. You can think of those as master switches for the body's inflammatory response. It also activates something called TRPV1 receptors, which are involved in how we sense heat and pain. Okay, I know that's a lot of science, but let's translate that into what it actually means for you.
So, by gently nudging those inflammatory pathways, ginger helps support your gut health and can even aid in joint comfort. And by activating those TRPV1 receptors, it helps get your blood flowing a bit better, especially to your hands and feet, and can even give your metabolism a tiny little boost. You know that warm feeling you get after a really strong cup of ginger tea? That's not in your head. That is the direct activation of those TRPV1 heat receptors. It's a process called thermogenesis, and it's a real physical sign that your circulation is getting a little kickstart.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone on quite a journey, haven't we? From your stomach muscles all the way to your brain signals and inflammatory pathways. Let's just do a quick, super clear recap of the whole domino effect. So let's put it all together. You consume ginger, your stomach starts moving more efficiently, the nausea signals between your gut and brain stabilize, key inflammatory pathways are gently calmed down,
Your circulation gets a nice little boost. And on top of all of that, its antioxidants are at work reducing cellular stress. All of that from one simple root. It's pretty amazing. And this, right here, is the main thing to remember. Ginger's power doesn't come from being a popular health trend. It's powerful because its specific chemical compounds have a direct, measurable conversation with your biology. It's chemistry talking to your body.
You know, when you start to understand the how and the why behind these things, your health just makes so much more sense. Knowing the mechanism is empowering. So my question for you is, what's the next mechanism you're curious to understand? Thanks so much for diving in with us.